All right, dude. So thanks for jumping on here, man. I know I haven't talked to you and kind of remember the last time. I know we talked, I think it was a couple months ago about the facility stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but I know we haven't really had a chance to sit down in a while and just have a interview like this and see kind of the growth of your business over the last several years. So what I want to try to do first is just try to introduce yourself and tell everyone who's watching, who you are, where you're at, like your background with, your business and stuff like that. Just like a quick intro.
of course. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Ben. It means a lot. I'm super grateful for all the stuff that you've done for me and my business. It means a lot. But to anybody listening, I'm Hector Cantele. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela. I came to the States in 2014 to play soccer for the University of Memphis. That's the reason I came to the States and the reason I came to Memphis, Tennessee. I finished playing, and after I played my 4 years, I saw an opportunity here in Memphis, and where the industry was going with soccer, personal training in the US in general. I saw that nobody was doing personal training for soccer specifically here in Memphis, at least as a serious academy type deal. So in 2018, I started Magis, which is a personal training academy for soccer players here in Memphis, where our mission is to help kids improve their skills, but at the same time enhance their mindset and their confidence on and off the field. And so that started 2018. I got in contact with you, Ben. I think it was in 2019-ish, beginning of the
Hmm.
year. Um, and I've been doing Magis since then. Each year, just learning, growing a little bit more. Each year is better than the year prior, uh, financially, but also in many other ways through learning experiences, things that have happened through adversity. So now Magis we're in our seventh year of operation, I believe. Yeah, seventh year, and we continue growing. So a lot of exciting stuff for sure.
Amazing, man. Amazing. You've been doing it for 7 years. That is not common in this industry for people to do it that long. One thing I want to try to figure out now is what do you think's been the key to your success over the last, to stay in business for this long? Because that's not a normal thing.
I mean, I wish there was just one thing, but I would say you have to care so much. You have to
Mhm.
care. I think the main word is caring, and when I say caring is you gotta care first for your business, meaning you have to have systems in place that allow you to scale properly, that allow you to sustain your growth. And also, if you have employees, right? Because at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, personal training specifically, it's a lot of people start just as a coach, right? And it's a very individual type business. But if you want to grow and if that growth means hiring people, then you gotta care for your employees a lot, and
Mhm.
you gotta support them in their goals. You have to be there for them. You have to know how to manage that those relationships with your employees. And then lastly, but not the least important, of course, is you gotta care so much about the client experience. I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing, because like one thing that we talk about in Magis internally is that we don't offer a service, we offer an experience. So if that's our goal, to offer experience, that it needs to be over the top from the moment they reach out to us showing
Yep.
interest all the way till they finish our program with us. And that's as simple as checking in on them, having checking up calls, uh, giving a birthday card because the kids is a kid's birthday, and that
Mhm.
card arrives to their house, to their home, right? Going to
Mhm.
watch them play for their teams. So I guess it's not an easy task. Running a business is hard, as you probably know, but
Mhm.
you have to care. You have to care so much. I think that's the main
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great advice. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people that go from starting this just as a coach to then trying to hire people and manage people. Uh, that is often a really big struggle for a lot of people because it's like you're just so used to just training kids on your own and just doing everything by yourself. And then now you have these adults that you're managing, which is a totally different ballgame. So try to talk through when you hired your first coach, like what was that experience like for you? Like the very first coach that you ever hired?
Yeah. So, well, I was very, very lucky, to be honest, with the first person that I hired, because his name is Carlos. He was a teammate of mine at the University of Memphis, from Venezuela,
Okay.
just like me. We were roommates all 4 years. I mean, I call him a brother, basically. But when we graduated, he moved to Florida for a year, but then he came back. So when he came back, so when he started working with me, the reason why I say I was lucky is because not only the good relations that I had with him, but when I tell you that he is, but he's still working with me. He's an A+ player. It's like he's an A+ player. Like, it's unbelievable how good of a human being, coach, how good at his job he is. And especially inside of our business, which imagines being a good coach is not enough. Like, doing a good session, running a good training session is not enough. There's so many other things that you have to do. You gotta be organized. You gotta be proactive. You gotta know how to talk to people. You gotta have manners. You gotta know how to listen. You gotta know how to take on feedback properly. Don't take it personally. Like, there's so many boxes you have to check. So, but I didn't know that when I hired Carlos, because it was my first one, right?
Yeah. It's like
So
perfect.
it was great. But then it's been a roller coaster for sure, because then the focus back then for me was, okay, let's look to hire more people. I mean, we're growing, people are showing interest. Let's look for maybe college players, right? People they're student athletes. They're playing at the University of Memphis. It's a good way for kids to have someone to look up to, right? I mean, it's an athlete school. It's a way of a sense of belonging. For people that don't know, Memphis is a very local driven community. They're very proud of Memphis, right? So in my eyes, okay, it makes sense. And I got some good people, and it was good, but it was not exactly where I needed to be, right? But again, parents were happy, clients were happy, kids were seeing results. But when we talk about organization wise, when we talk about those other things that go beyond just the coaching, it was not just there. But experience was good. And then more people came on board. I remember this was 2022, 2023. And I faced my first big adversity in terms of hiring. Magis externally looked very, very good. I mean, clients were showing results, parents were happy. I mean, everything was quote unquote working, but internally it was a very toxic culture. So internally it was very, very tough. So we went, I think 2023, I had, counting me, we were 5 coaches, and we went down to 2, basically in a span of 2-3 months. So we needed a cleanup. Basically, we needed to go back to roots. What's up? And again, that's been our biggest year financially so far. But internally, we were not doing right.
Right. Didn't feel
at
good.
all. Didn't feel good. Toxic culture, and that's when I learned, like, hey, this is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, the culture internally is what's gonna drive everything else.
Yep.
So that took me into a path of really putting my head down and learning about what do I need to do, or what do I need to understand, so I have a good hiring process in place. That took me to reading books, listening to podcasts, all these things. And I found a really good book. I forgot the name. I don't know if I think it's the Who Interview or something like that, but they walk you through a step-by-step process on how to run a proper hiring process. And that was life-changing. I mean, life-changing. I ended up going from kind of like not swinging things, but to be honest, when I read that, I was like, yeah, I think I was swinging things. So I got lucky, to be honest, in the way things pans out. But to now have, again, a good process in place. So at the end of 2023, hired a new coach, which he was great. It was awesome. Right away, we saw the change of culture internally, and that showed even more externally. And then last year, 2024, I hired 2 more coaches into my team. One of them She's now our operations manager and marketing manager as well, and it's been game changing. So
Amazing.
now I would say it's like the best we've been internally, culture wise. There's a good understanding of what's our mission, what's our vision, what are our core values, what's the standard. Here Magis, we do things at a high level. So it's like you have to be an A player. And when I say player, it's like I said before, not just a good coach. And so now we have a good understanding of why we do things the way we do things, which allows to be in a good rhythm. Everybody's in sync. We have a good team environment, and we continue to grow. So I would say it's tough, it's hard. I'm not gonna say it's easy. Manage people, it's tough, but to me, it's one of the things that I enjoy the most doing. It's what really fills me up to bring somebody in and just seeing a change in them after being part of Magis, and seeing the impact they're having inside my business. I mean, that fills me up a lot. So I recommend to anybody. It will be tough, but it's very rewarding internally for sure.
Yeah, gotcha, man. So let's go back to you when you trained your first ever client or clients back in the day when you were first starting your business. What was that experience like when you had someone who actually paid you to coach their kids? Tell me about that story or that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I guess fulfillment, I would say not only when they first did a session with me, but the biggest thing for me was when I share some knowledge or some instruction or something, and I saw in the kid's face like that aha moment,
Right.
Oh my God, makes sense. From a soccer standpoint, but even more like the off the field stuff, their confidence, they're playing happier, now they're starting, and you start seeing that to me was like, okay, this is awesome. I feel like I'm contributing to something bigger than myself, right? So yeah, definitely it was life changing, I would say.
Yeah. No, I totally resonate with that. I vividly remember probably the first 30 kids that I ever worked with. Every single thing always led back to that, being able to teach them or coach them on something and see them implement. But for me, it was always the outside of the field stuff was always much more important. That I think when I started to nail that down, that's when my business started to unlock, because that's where kids became more confident, started feeling better about how they're playing, taking more responsibility at school, more responsibility at home. Parents could see that sort of stuff. And that's where I think there's always a difference between just doing soccer lessons and running a program, right? So talk about back in the day when before you met me, obviously you had kids that you were training, and then when you got to me, if you remember, I know this was a long time ago, but if you do remember, what were some of the key things that you switched or changed after we met that helped you grow and get to the next level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember I mentioned this to you in our first ever call. It's just system, structure. That's the biggest thing, because I already had a good program in place in terms of offering the most amount of value and things like that. But I needed structure. The way I was doing things, it was not going to be scalable, right? When we talk about the classic, when you're starting, you do some session packages, or they pay you on a per session basis, things like that's classic. But unfortunately, that there's no way for you to predict things or to plan out if you don't have a clear vision of how the numbers may look in 1, 2, 3, 6 months at a time, right? Or even the year. So that was the biggest change, I would say, just the structure. I remember when I got in the call and you gave me access to the contracts. I always say the contracts that you had in place, the templates. That was till this day, I use the same templates. I use the same templates. Of course, different wording. I
Yeah.
alter different things, but it's the same template, So, and I remember that when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is what I freaking need. just
Right.
the contract template, and just, okay, 6-month commitment, 12-month commitment, certain amount of sessions. Got it. Makes sense. So that was the biggest thing. And again, that drives many other factors that are important, right? I mean, when you have that set of structure that shows seriousness, that shows a commitment,
Mm-hmm.
so that takes out families that they don't want to commit, which there's nothing wrong with that. But me personally, I want to work with kids that are committed, right? So that takes away all of that. Also, from a financial standpoint, usually parents that want to commit, they financially, they're not gonna ask you too many questions. They're just gonna, okay, sounds good, that works for me. Oh, it's time to
Mm-hmm.
renew. Okay, they're easy to work with, right? So that
Yes.
structure gives you that, which that's peace of mind, which is the most important thing. But also financially, of course, it just makes sense. So I would say just the structure, that was huge. It was big.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious with the way you have like the agreement and contract set up with the parents, is it, have you noticed for you, it's like once someone signs up, it's like the back and forth, like the gray area is just gone. Like because they've just committed before they've actually signed up.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, now, to give you the process, I schedule a call with them. And again, same thing when you express, you share it with us. They fill out the lead form, I get notification, they get an automatic email notification to schedule the call. We have a 30-minute call. I still use similar, the sales script, I think, that you had in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Very similar. Um, and then everything sounds good. I send them the contract, and once they sign that contract, I mean, probably in the next 7 years, I might have maybe 1 or 2 families that were like, hey, an emergency happened or something like that, or an injury. It's
Right.
like, that's fine. But usually after they sign an agreement, it's like, we're good. And we're even to the point that whenever we're full and we have waiting lists, I even go through the process and they sign the agreement as they're in the waiting list, right? So like, I know for sure that whenever a spot becomes available, I already have somebody that's gonna fill out that spot.
Right. I like
Right.
that. That's cool. Okay. Gotcha. And I'm curious, like more strategy on the business, like are most of the people that signing up with you now, are they paying? So they're on the agreement, right? But are they paying like upfront for everything, or are they paying monthly? Like, how do you sell your program?
Yeah. So we do either one-on-one program or small group program. Small groups, we keep it at no more than 6 players.
Okay.
I've thought about doing kind of like the classic seasonal group training, like fall season, spring season, winter season. And I've been dabbling about that. But so far we're just staying at small group one-on-one, which is what we've been doing. Then our one-on-one program is kind of like the most premium one, I will call it. Is the one that has the most amount of things. Again, going back to what I shared before, it's like, it's an experience. We want to be the guys that offer the most amount of value.
Yeah.
We do either a 6-month commitment or a 12-month commitment. It's parents have the option either to pay on a monthly basis. We use a recurring payment process, or we use Stripe. Now, when we just added these at the beginning of this year, if they use Stripe, they gotta pay the convenience fee, the payment processor fee. We added that to the monthly. Before, for the last 6 years, I was the one covering that, so I just thought it was a good time to make that change. If parents want to pay upfront, they get that option. They get a $125 off discount if they pay upfront, right?
Gotcha.
So I like to keep it like that, just to have both. You have the recurring revenue every single month coming in, but also upfront, just that helps, right? Every once in a while to get that upfront payment. Of course, with groups, depending on the amount of kids, it varies the cost, depending on the amount of kids in the group. And also for groups, we give the option of doing a 3-month program, just because as a group, what I found out is different kids, different schedules. Maybe a kid plays 3 sports, another kid plays just 1 sport. So I give the option for them to do 3 months, but if that they do that, they have to pay upfront for the 3 months without a discount. Right?
Gotcha.
So
That makes
that's
sense.
kind of like how I separate it.
Gotcha. And do you run, I know when we, worked together several years ago, you were running like camps and stuff like that. Are you still doing camps and clinics in addition?
Yes. We do camps, we do clinics, usually holidays. We do one summer camp in June, one summer camp in July. We actually have our July camp next week. So we're excited. So far it's been our biggest sign up for this July camp coming up. We have 40 kids, which is great. Awesome,
Man.
So no, we're excited. We're excited for sure.
That's cool. So when you started your business, was everything one-on-one or was it groups? Like when you initially started, what was that setup like?
It's the same as how we've been doing it, one-on-one or small group. And I've been thinking about, because of course, from a business standpoint, groups is what makes the most sense, right? I mean, it's less time, more kids. It just makes sense financially, time-wise, all of that. But one thing that I've been thinking about is, okay, but what makes us different? And what makes us different is that one-on-one attention in the amount of value that we provide, right? So I'll give you a rundown here for the audience to have an idea, but we record all of our training sessions with a camera. Kids get all of those videos. We also have a video crew on the team that he creates a 1-minute highlight reel of each session. So it's a 1-minute highlight reel of each training session. Then we also write a post-session report with detailed feedback on the kids' performance during the session. They have access, they receive the weekly evaluation. I got that information from you. The weekly evaluation, which they fill out every Sunday. The games evaluation, which they fill it out once a month. And then also we created basically a folder where it's part of their members area, but a little bit over 40 videos, which all of these videos contain a bunch of ball mastery drills. So we created these exercises. And so the idea is for kids to work on their touches on their own at home, right? And then lastly, we do something called a 6-month player report, which is basically once a kid completes 6 months of training with us, we write a lengthier Google Doc report, basically highlighting everything that we worked on with the kid, how was their performance, how they did, what we focus on, how was their body language, if they accomplished the goals that we set up for themselves, and all that. So that's a one-on-one program. So as you see, that's all of those things are on top of the training.
Right.
So it's like, okay, that's what makes us different, right? Like, how can we be the ones that offer the most amount of value on top of your session? So that's why so far we decided to just stay the way we are, because I feel like what we have is different. It's good. It's making a huge impact. And yes, of course, we're saying no to maybe more revenue, but
you're doing it the way that you're doing it the way that you like to do it, which I know a lot of coaches. I've seen this happen a lot over the past couple of years. Like, they know they can make more with groups, and then when they switch to group training, it's the quality of the session that they run is not to the standard it should be. So like clients leave, and then they switch back to one-on-one. And it comes down to what the standards that you want to set. But like, you can definitely continue to grow the business, and you already know this, but you can keep growing the business with one-on-one training. It's really just going to come down to scheduling and having the right coaches in place that can handle that volume. Because my most successful client I'm working with right now, I mean, they offer one-on-one training. They run probably per day 30 to 40 one-on-one sessions.
Wow.
And the thing is like, he wants to keep doing it that way. It's worked great for him. It's made, just the last 6 years, made like $2.5 million. So it's like, but they also run group training, right? But it's like, you can do extremely well with one-on-one. And I could guarantee if I fly to Memphis tomorrow, and I look up all the coaches on Coach Up, or I go on Google and I try to type in, private soccer training, Memphis. I could go watch everybody's one-on-one sessions, and then when I get to yours, I would feel like I'm on a different planet, because what you guys are actually doing away from the training and everything that the kids get, and that's just very different again than just running sessions. Because I mean, imagine how different it is right now than when it was for you when you first started. You know what I mean?
For sure. Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
But
That's cool,
but I
man.
would say, in order to get there, you have to go through all of these things,
Oh yeah.
right? I think that's
Yeah.
one thing that anybody running a business, either soccer or whatever it may be, that's another word I would say. You gotta be patient. Patient. Think long term. Think long term. Just be patient, because it's so many things that you don't know. But the only way you know is if you go through them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I'm curious because I've asked this to a few people, but I try to be very selective with who I ask, because like I can't ask this to someone who's been in business for a year, but I can ask this to someone who's done this for at least 5 years. But is for you, like, running the business, is that like one of the hardest things that you've done in your life?
Maybe, but I love what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind on a weekend, just working. Like
Hmm.
that's me, right? Because I love what I do. So yeah, of
Yeah.
course it's hard. Now I remember in 2023 when we went through that stage, it
Hmm.
sucked. I mean, it sucked. It was hard for sure. But then you slowly pick yourself back up. You start figuring out things. You realize what things could have been, and then things get better. So it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's been the hardest thing,
Yeah.
but I would say there's moments, of course, that you're like, oh my god, it's hard,
Right.
you know.
What am I doing?
And but for
Yeah.
example, I've used I'm sure you know him, Alex Hormozy, this guy
Yeah.
from he's a marketing big guy, and he talks about how when things get hard, and he has this mental approach of being like having the awareness of just tell yourself like
Hmm.
this doesn't suck. It's just this is how hard feels like,
Yeah.
right? And that's it. And it's gonna be there. It's not gonna be there forever. It
Hmm.
might be a week, it might be a month, heck, it might be 2 years. But
Hmm.
it's just how it feels at the moment, right?
Right.
So I guess it depends on the season and the moment you're going with your business, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, because it's always a temporary thing. And I remember, I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but there was a day that I fired 11 coaches in one day. Um, and what you went through is probably very similar to what was going on with me back when that happened. And I remember I was like, man, this is like so hard. And then like looking back at it now, I'm like, man, like there's been so many other things that have happened since then that were way harder than that. like, but yeah, it's having, that type of perspective though, to look back, and also in the moment, just being like, all right, I'm just going to slowly dig myself out of this and keep going. Cause for you and for anyone who has been doing this for a long period of time, I mean, the reason why most people stay in this business is because they actually love helping kids.
Mm,
Um, and I know that tends to be a problem for people that don't have that joy or passion. It's like it's a short term type of thing, because like they don't have that within their heart, um, to continue and go through the hard things that
for
are
sure.
challenging. And I'm curious for you, like what is your favorite thing about running your business? Like, what's your number one thing where it's like, oh man, I love this part the most?
Man, I love working with people in my team. Um, I really like that. I really, bringing somebody in and uh, seeing how they apply their knowledge and all these things they know, and who they
Hmm.
are, and putting them in place into the business, and then uh, being with for that person as well, right? And supporting them through their journey. And I say that as anybody on my team, but also with the players too. It's the same, at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? It's the power of leaving a mark or leaving an impact. That's what I love the most, you know. So, and I think, going to your point, if anybody that's gonna do this business or any type of business, I feel like if you do it for the money, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The money is just it flows, it comes, right? But it comes based on your intentions, right? And why you do certain things. So at the end of the day, I feel like the approach should be, you know, the more I grow, the more people I can help. And of course, the more people you can help, which usually that means, you know, you're doing better financially, but the focus should be on that. So that's what I think. That's been my approach. That fills me with gratitude. That's maybe what allows me to not feel like it's that hard. Because at the end of the day, like you mentioned a word, which is perspective. You know, what is hard? You know, hard.
Yes.
People struggling with sickness, with so many other things, and in those moments when we gotta look down and be like, I have a business. You know, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm doing good. I'm learning. I'm growing.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll say the helping part, right? Seeing somebody transform, empower them. That's what I love most of what I do.
That's awesome, man. And tell me, because like I can just tell when I talk to people on these calls how, even if I know I've never actually spent time with you like in Memphis, I haven't like gone out there to hang out, but like I'm just looking at your background right now, and I can already I know this about you without ever us talking about it. I know you're like a very disciplined person. Like your room is like extremely clean. The books are hung up perfectly behind you. Like I can see this sort of stuff. Um, and I'm curious, like when you were a kid growing up, like were you like that, like before you started your business, or did you become that way after you started your business?
And I've always been very organized. I mean, my parents, I owe them everything, and my sister, she's a great example, of course, to follow as well. Always indulged that in me, right? The importance of discipline, the importance of being different than everybody else. My dad always said that to me. Just your goal should be to be different, right? And I guess it's a lot of things, right? And my school, you know, the values they teach in my school, they were very, very good, and I still follow them. And then just the fact of playing soccer, and also soccer at a high level, meaning, you know, training every single day while also trying to keep good grades, then trying to come to the United States, right? And then you're here in college, and college is training every single day, gym sessions 2-3 times a week. You got to study in the bus, play a game, come back, get at 2 a.m. at night, sleep, wake up at 8 a.m. for a 9 a.m. class, right? So I've I've been used to that lifestyle since I could remember, because what I just explained in college, I did the same when I was in Venezuela back home. Also seeing my parents, you know, my parents, very disciplined people, both of them, and just their work ethic, unbelievable. And they just never stopped working because they loved it. And they were always present for me and my sister too, right? So just being around that environment, I think has always been great. And of course, then that's why I don't think it was that hard. It was just, it is what it is, right? And it's just what it is. But then you get in the business, and of course, going back to the same thing, it's the same thing. One thing adds to the other, and then you just gotta be disciplined, and you gotta understand that there are things that you're not gonna enjoy doing them, but you have to do them, like accounting. I don't like categorizing all the freaking transactions from Magis, but I have to do it, right? Or uncomfortable situations, or uncomfortable conversations with my team. I don't enjoy that too much, to be honest, but I need to do it, right? So, but as you get that standard, the same standard within the culture, within the company, it just gets easy, right? The problem is when you're used to all of that, you're trying to set a standard, but it doesn't add up. That's when it gets uncomfortable. But when everybody's on the same page, then everything works better. But yeah, I would say it's been multiple things that have shaped me throughout my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's amazing because when you take a step back and think of it, it's like if your room was like really messy right now, imagine how difficult it would be to lead the coaches that are working
Yeah,
for you, and like how to maintain a high standard for really anything. Because it's always going to start with you, and people will either meet you at that standard or they're going to weed themselves away from it. And it's been like that with the kids that you like, the families that try to get in your program, and then like the coaches that work with you, and probably the same way with your inner circle of friends that you spend time with. Like
mm,
it, and that's why I've always thought about this, like as far as being a business owner, it's like you you always end up attracting the type of people that work with you that are like you,
for sure.
and those are your best clients. And it's like if someone's really disorganized, they're going to have really disorganized clients. If someone's super organized, they're going to have great families that are on it, and they're going to sign the contract, and they're going to give you the money, and it's like it's no big deal.
Yeah, yeah,
um so
yeah,
that's cool, man.
yeah. You have to be. It's not like you. I'm just gonna be organizing my business, right? It
Yeah,
has to be.
yeah.
You have to. It has to be across the board, right? Because at the end of the day, it's
Mhm.
about habits. Like you, I remember you always say this, and I still think it on my own. Which is, if your car looks messy, that means you're a
Yeah,
bad coach. Something like that. I think you
yeah,
you
yeah,
preach that a lot, and
yeah.
that's stay with me. It's like because I know that the message you're trying to transmit with that, and I agree. It's like,
Mhm.
you gotta be organized if you wanna run a good business, if you organize business, and if you want things to flow, and for
Mhm.
sure.
Cool, man. And if you don't mind sharing, like how many kids right now are like actively in your academy as far as numbers?
Yeah, right now we have 65 kids in our one-on-one and small group program. So these are kids that come uh, every single week to our training programs. Um, and then of course we have the camps and the clinics, which that's one-off type deal. But yeah,
Mhm.
we have 65. We're looking to hire one or two more coaches at the moment. Hopefully, our goal for the year is to get to 100. So I feel like if we have at least two more coaches, we should get there.
Got it. Cool, man. And then as far as the structure of the kids that are doing like one-on-one or in groups, are most kids coming once per week or twice per week? What's the setup like?
Yeah. So one of the things I remember that you mentioned, the structure that you shared was 24 sessions within 6 months, right? I
Hmm.
remember that. So we used to have that until last year, and I made the switch to do 22 sessions within 6 months. The
Hmm.
reason is because I found out that I saw that we were getting behind in programs, and
Hmm.
sometimes it was not due to the families. It was not the family's fault. It was weather, with
Right.
traveling, with, and we always try to be very understanding, even though we have a contract in place. It's like,
Hmm.
if, heck, you had 2 sessions left, we finished the agreement, I'll extend you an extra week. Let's try to get this.
Hmm.
So we're very like that. But we make that switch to 2 sessions in 6 months, and difference has been huge. I mean, now we're finishing programs early. If not, we're finishing on time. Like, it's very weird to finish programs late. Also,
Hmm.
it's one of the things that I didn't know before, but it's normal in the US, or at least here in Memphis, kids to play 2 or 3 sports.
Hmm.
Or middle school season, they're playing middle school season, so they can play club season. So they're doing middle school club season plus Magis. They have like 3-4 games a week.
A
It's
lot.
like a lot. So it's like this, having that adjusted like that allows to, hey, you know what? Let's take 2 weeks off. You're 4 or 5 weeks ahead of schedule. You're fine. It's okay,
Right.
right? Like, for example, we have this kid now. They finished the 6 month program. The mom was concerned about renewing because he's gonna do same thing, middle school season, club season, and they love Magic. They all the great things. And I was like, hey, we're in the summer. What if we double up for the next 2 to 3 weeks? That's gonna put you probably 7 or 8 weeks ahead of schedule. And then when middle school season comes, you can take 3 weeks off, and we're fine. We're
Hmm.
on schedule, right? So making that change has been huge. So even though it's 22 sessions within 6 months, the plan is to meet once a week for an
Yeah,
hour long.
that makes sense. Cool. So 1 hour, 22 sessions in 6 months. And then, so everyone's either doing the 6 or 12 month program. You have coaches that are helping run some of the sessions. What's your like normal day like? Like, let's say it's Monday, and I know you have your camp next Monday, but let's say it wasn't a camp. Like, what's your normal Monday morning day
Yeah.
look like?
Well, I wake up, I'm a morning person, so I wake up early and go to the gym first thing, come back home, read a little bit, and then usually I start my day by working on something that's tedious, such as preparing for a meeting, or for example, I'm working on a document now, which is it's called "How to Be a Successful Coach in Magic." So basically, I'm building a binder or
Hmm.
bunch of paper of our vision, our mission, our core values, things like that. So I try to use the morning for like that tedious work.
Hmm.
Then every Monday I have a weekly meeting with our operations and marketing manager. We talk about what she accomplished last week, what are our goals for the week, based on our goals for the quarter, things like that. I usually run for 30, 45 minutes. And then after that, I usually leave Mondays for my sales calls, which are 30-minute calls. I don't like to have more than three because they're long.
Yeah,
You
you're
gotta be
talking to
very
people.
tiring. So you gotta be very present. And so usually
Hmm.
have three, no more than four. After that, I go for my lunch. Usually after lunch, I relax for a little bit. I finish working on some things, maybe answering emails at that time. And then I head to the field. Usually I have, of course, way less sessions compared to what I started. I try to
Yeah,
keep as much open schedule as possible. So if I don't have sessions, what I do usually is either I stay at home and keep working, or I just go to the fields and just watch sessions from the other coaches,
gotcha.
see how they're doing, see the type of session they're running. If I see something either good or something to improve, I let them know right there. And usually I finish the day by 6 p.m. or so, head home, eat dinner, and then do it all over again the next day.
Right. What time in the morning are you waking up?
I wake up usually between 6 or 6:30 a.m.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Cool. That's awesome, man. So your day is pretty structured. You are always going to have something to work on. Always something to figure out uh, with the business. And I'm curious, since you've had a business, like what's the number one thing you feel like you've learned about yourself since you've started and to where you're at now? Like what's the number one thing you feel like you've learned about you?
That's a great question. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that. Um, Maybe resilience, I guess. The capacity to just keep moving forward, uh, and that hunger for more in a good way.
Hmm.
Not just more to more, but that continuous sense of improvement. You know, um, yeah, I guess those two things.
Got it. When you say hunger for more, I feel like I know what you're talking about, but someone who's watching this may not know what you mean. Tell me more about what you mean by that.
Yeah, so not staying complacent, right?
Yeah.
And I know people say, well, businesses also usually there's a point that they plateau, but it's like, okay, how can we not get there? How can we
Right.
continue raising the bar? And sometimes it doesn't mean even financially, it doesn't mean number wise. It's how can we make our program even better?
Hmm.
So I give an example with uh, Margie, she joined us as an operation and marketing manager. She brought a lot of experience. She's been awesome. And one of the things she wanted us to implement was a CRM. I didn't have
Hmm.
CRM before. I didn't know anything about it. And we went through all this process this year. First quarter of the year was figuring out which one we wanted to use based on the things that we wanted to implement in there. And then this quarter two, we finished it we're using Monday now, and it's been amazing. And now probably our clients don't know anything of that CRM because it doesn't involve them.
Right.
But what's going to allow us that is to have we've basically systemized a good customer service experience, which
Mhm.
we didn't have that. So that's wanting more, right? Because to be
Mhm.
honest, it's not like last year things were not working. We're working. They were working
Yeah,
great.
but they're
But it's
working
like
better now.
they're working better. Same with like the post-session reports. We were using a platform called Zoom Reports. They had that service, but they closed now. But before they closed, I remember I talked to Antonio, he's in charge of doing all the highlight reels, all the edition, but he's also a developer, a programmer.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, let's build our own. I want us to have
Mhm.
our own platform where families can have their own members area in there. The possession reports can get delivered over text message and over email because this other platform didn't allow that. It was just email. Sometimes it will go to a spam folder, things like that.
Yep. Yep.
And we accomplished that. Now, so I think that, right? Not staying comfortable because
Mhm.
that's a big thing, right? Because you're seeing a little bit of success. Your lifestyle is getting better. You have time to do more things, which is not
Mhm.
bad. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the goal to run a business, right? Freedom, at least mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like that mix of, okay, how can we go a little bit higher and continue
Mhm.
pushing? So that's basically
Yeah.
kind of like what I mean.
Gotcha. Awesome. And let's talk about the freedom aspect of it for a second. So, are you, and everybody's different. Like, I mean, I know if you hung out with me for an entire year, you'd be like, dude, Ben is so boring. Like, all he does is, he hangs out with his family when he's not working, and he's not like, I literally do the same thing every single day. And then on the weekends, I'm not working at all. But for you, like, are you treating yourself to like go on vacations and stuff like that at this point? Like, how do you have fun?
Oh, look, for sure. Like, there's a great book I recommend everybody to read. It's called "I Will Teach You to Be Rich" by Ramit. Basically, he tells you, how to build your rich life and how you want to
Mhm.
have you live your rich life based on your own terms, not on what
Yeah.
everybody says, right? But it's great. I recommend everybody to read that book. But anyways, um, I'm all about traveling. I love traveling. That's
Cool.
something that I love traveling. I love to travel internationally, cultures. Also, my family's in Venezuela. Even though Venezuela might not be in the best state right now, I love my country. In my eyes, there's nothing like it. I love
Mhm.
it. So I like to go back. So yeah, I mean, but that's been since day one, though. That's one thing that I think
Mhm.
people they're scared or they're like, I don't know if you can set the terms how you want, right? So
Yeah.
me, at least since day one, I've always had the idea of how can I build a successful business doing what I love, but that I can still travel. That I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna feel like prisoner to my
Trapped.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why, after just 1 year, I hired my first coach. It didn't take
Mhm.
me 5 years. It's just
Mhm.
because it's always been that in my mind. So yeah, I mean, I also, I love Memphis, but I need to leave Memphis at least once every 2, 3 months, I would say,
Mhm.
just to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so at least every 2, 3 months I go out of town. This year I went to Boston a couple of times. I went to Spain in May. In At the end of this month, I'm gonna go visit my mom in Seattle. She's gonna be traveling there. So in
Wow.
August,
Nice.
I'm gonna go to Venezuela. October, hopefully, I go again. And December, this is I think this is a little more colder, but at least in Venezuela, after December 10th or 15th, it's like everything is dead. Everybody
Okay.
goes spend time with their family, holidays. Here in the US, you don't see that much. You see more people
Right.
working, and it's basically on the 23rd of December, it's like you take off until the 30th. And then
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
some people work on the 31st. It's like, in my
Right.
mind, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
like for the last, ever since my started, I mean, like after December 15th, We're
Shut down.
closed until January 5th.
That's cool.
And again, some people may look at, oh, but that's whatever. Like, it's fine. Those are my terms, and I love
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, you're
it's fine.
doing it the way you want. And I think that's the thing that people need to draw out of what they're listening. It's like you're not doing things the way that everybody else does it. It's like it complements how you want to live your life, and you've built your business around that, and you're not this prisoner to having to be there 24 hours a day because you have coaches that can handle stuff. And I mean, imagine how difficult it would be right now for you to do all this traveling and you were the only person that was coaching.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be possible, right? I mean, now I would say it's not like I'm out of town and I don't do anything. Look,
Right. Yeah.
I'm out of town
Yeah.
and I'm on my computer and
Right.
checking on the coaches, checking how they're doing, answering emails. But at the same time, I think that's how it should be, depending on
Right.
where you're on the year. December is different, right? December is holiday, so maybe that's a good time for you to slow down a little bit and not be paying too much attention. But again, going back, I think it takes time, like it took me at least 7 years to finally feel like, okay, I feel like I can leave and literally have a peace of mind. Because yeah, I will leave, but I will have, thinking. Now I'm like,
Rest.
okay, I think based on how things are, it's like, okay, I can have full peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing, man. I should have asked you this earlier because it ties back into before you got to Memphis. And I think, I was there for a year. I played soccer there for a year. I wasn't good enough, so I quit. I went to a different school. But before you got to Memphis, how was your English?
So, más o menos, I would say.
Got it.
I did a summer camp in Maine when I was in high school. I did it twice. So I had a good base, but the guys my freshman year will tell you something different. They will tell you that I didn't know how to say anything. But yeah, after 1 year, it got better. It was
Easy.
good.
Yeah. Gotcha. And I'm curious at this point, with all of the kids that have come through your program, I mean, you've done this for 7 years. It's like, what do you feel like if you had to point to like one thing, like what's the ultimate goal that your program provides for kids?
Transformation on and off the field. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the message we try to transmit with the families, current families, leads through our social media, in our website. It's like this is a mentorship. We call ourselves mentors. We don't call ourselves coaches. Yes, while still making sure we offer the best training possible, but we want to improve your son's or daughter's mindset for sure.
Yeah. Got it. And last question I have for you, man. So I know, I mean, it was like 2018, 2019 when we worked together. And I know like I've seen so many variations of what I do with coaches, how that's changed, even just like in the last year. But what would you tell a coach that's watching this, that's maybe considering like they're wanting to hire me to help them with their business? Like, what would you tell someone who's like either doing this full time already or they're doing this as a side thing and they want to grow it?
Man, what are you waiting for? Being honest, like, look, literally when I joined your program, like it was right off the bat, it was like this change because it gave me the direction, it gave me the structure, and I just had to follow the game plan. So that I just had to follow the blueprint, right? So that's the biggest thing. It's like you can either do it by yourself, but you're going to spend more time, probably more money, and time. You can't get time back, so you gotta remember about that. You don't get time back. So now you have Ben, which is giving you all these tools. It's like just do it. And it worked for me, and I've heard of all the cases from all the coaches, and he has worked with a lot of different people as well. So it's a route to take for sure.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha, man. That's awesome. Now I wanted to say thank you for doing what you do, man. I mean, I know because it's your business, like you have your own perspective, but I think it's good for you to hear like you're the type of person that can go so far in this business. And I know you have that self-belief to be able to continue building it and making it bigger and better for the kids that you serve. And I think the thing that I've noticed the most with you since I've known you is like it draws back to what you said at the very beginning. It's like you actually like really, really care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that for the kids, the parents, the coaches that work for you. And that is the one ingredient that people have to have if they're going to do this at a high level. And last thing, man, before we go, if someone wanted to look you up, how would they find your information?
Yeah, of course. Well, they can find us, sorry, at Mice Performance. That's our Instagram handle. Facebook, Mice Performance. We're on TikTok. We're not that active there, but same, Mice Performance. And our website is miceperformance.com.
Got it. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for jumping on here, man.
Thank you,
I'm
Ben.
blessed to know you and keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time as
All
well.
right.
Thank you, man.
See you later.
Bye.
All right. Cool, man. Dude, thanks for